Addressing the deficit is going to require both looking at revenue as well as how we choose to spend money. We do have some solutions out there for both Medicare and Social Security. And when we look at Social Security, what we know is this is a problem of the baby boom bubble, and that once we get past this bubble, we have a program that's solvent. This is a program where if you are lucky enough and make $1 million this year, you are only going to pay Social Security tax on about 10% of your earnings. But if you're an average American, you're going to pay 100% Social Security tax on your earnings. So there's a very simple solution to the Social Security piece that's very fair. We ask every American to pay their fair share. We remove the tax. But larger than that, we do need to look at our revenue, and we do need to look at spending. We do need to manage it. And we have to look at revenue sources. And one of the best revenue sources we can look at is how we deal with capital gains. Currently, capital is taxed at a lower rate than labor. This might have been good in 1980 when we were dealing with a supply issue and we didn't have enough capital to produce the goods and services we needed. But today, we have more than enough capital. Our corporations are reporting the highest GDP ever. Those corporations are awash in money, as Congressman Reichert alluded to, and they don't know where to put it. So it's not an issue of how we do that, but it is an issue on how we stimulate demand. And demand drives back into capital gains. So let's look at it this way. We treat all income the same in capital gains. Whether it's capital or whether we earn it, we tax it at the same level. That deals with a lot of our deficit. That brings in the additional revenue, and that gives us some breathing room. So we address on the spending side some of our major entitlement programs. There are ways we can control it, and yet at the same time, we have to look at how we find additional revenue. Capital gains is an excellent place to find it.
So yes, reform in Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid is necessary. It is urgent. We have to do it. It's where most of our money, the majority of our money, a vast majority of our money is spent. We can't continue to spend money we don't have. We can't continue to borrow money from China. We all know that. Medicare goes bankrupt in 2024. Social Security has till 2038. The only reason that Social Security stays solvent at all is because we continue to put IOUs in the Social Security bank from money that we borrow from China. So we need reform. We need to reform all of those social services, all of those entitlements. We all recognize that. Even our military leaders have said our greatest threat to national security is our deficit. We need to act now in reducing that deficit. We're $16 trillion in debt. Think about $16 trillion. What does $1 trillion mean to you? It's hard for us to even grasp that. Do you know how long it takes to spend $1 trillion if you spent $1 a second? $1 a second? 30,000 years. 30,000. We have 16 trillion of those that we're in debt. So what do we do with Medicare? We save it, we protect it, and we preserve it for our seniors. Those that are 55 and over, no change. You have it. You worked hard for it. It should not be taken away. But for younger folks, we need to make sure it's there for them. We've got to reform that system in order to do that. To do nothing is the unfair thing. To let it sit and go away would be unfair to the children and grandchildren that we all love and care for. So we've got to reform Medicare. We're in the process of looking at how we're going to do that. I voted twice now for a budget that gets us back on a fiscal path to prosperity. The president's budget has been voted down twice. Twice in the House and once in the Senate. No Democrats have even voted for the president's budget.